Birthdays, changes, excitement and more right here, right now. Greetings Rummies and welcome to RumRum.net, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing, and to a regular news roundup. Welcome to the channel, thanks for stopping by. My name is Serta and I will be your host for this video. If you have any news for us, send us a mail to news@rumrum.net. No big thing today, no 18-minute video, but the world of sim racing and racing games still does not stand still. Like the announcement without any release date specified that Wreckfest will be made available for Apple and Android mobile phones. While we don't know how well it will work, we gotta say Wreckfest is a lot of fun on PC, so hopefully the fun can be reprogrammed well for mobile phones. We've got many other small-ish news coming right up. We talked about this game a long while ago, see the link up there, and then it had an expected release date of sometime in 2022. Well, the release date is now fixed to October 4th. Still made by Saber Interactive, the people who brought us the visually stunning and incredibly fun SnowRunner. The game will be released simultaneously for PC, on Steam and the Epic Game Store, and for consoles, and if you pre-order it, you will get the Audi RS-Q e-tron Off-Road. Man, that's a mouthful. This game will not only bring the 2022 Dakar rally, but also the 2020 and 2021 versions of it for what we hope will be your racing pleasure. The normal price will be €40 USD, and the deluxe version will not only cost you €60 USD, but will bring a season pass, and if this game's as good with DLCs as SnowRunner was, it may very well be worth it. The DAF Truck Turbo Twin and the Peugeot 405 Turbo 16. Saber plans to release 5 DLCs and a new gameplay map during the course of the first season, and we suppose any further season will be dependent of the success of the game. SnowRunner had only one season planned at release, but it sold so immensely well that Saber added a second season. No word about a third season for SnowRunner yet, but I digress. You will be able to play the game solo or against 3 other players, but it seems the career mode will be fixed to solo play. In any case, you will be able to drive motorcycles, cars, trucks, quads and SSVs, and while the press release promises realistic physics, we've heard that promise time and time again, and the game looks more like an arcade or simcade. Which doesn't have to be bad per se, or maybe it'll have both: simplified physics for casual players, hardcore physics for sim racers like us. Hey, a girl can dream. Physics aside, and interestingly enough, the game will feature all 4 seasons, dynamic weather conditions, as well as a day and night cycle. And I'm already scared at the prospect of driving at night in the desert not knowing what's behind the next dune. In any case, beside an open world map, the game will feature 30 stages and officially licensed vehicles, teams and pilots. And if they get the physics for the trucks right, maybe they can apply them to SnowRunner. Just saying. And talking about not racing on tarmac, iRacing will bring a dirt oval racing game out only for consoles on the 27th of September, featuring official content from World of Outlaws. The press release talks about 4 so-called outlaw classes and more than 40 tracks, which is marketing speak for nobody wants to say 43 or something like that. Be advised, only 13 of those are licensed, the others seem to be fictional tracks, which doesn't have to be a bad thing at all if they're well designed. Also licensed are many of the real world drivers, of which I have no idea as I don't follow dirt racing, because even if it looks like incredible fun, the day only has 24 hours, and if I'd watch all motorsports I could not be making videos, not to speak of work. You know, the thing that pays my bills. As was to be expected, the game's being put out by Monster Games, the company iRacing bought last year, which makes sense, like Miramax and Disney. iRacing is the sim racing company, Monster Games isn't, and so it's easier for everyone and doesn't muddy the waters with people wondering if iRacing's going soft. The trailer looks great, so I gotta say I envy console players if the playability is as high as the trailer promises, as this looks like fun. And yeah, I know I could get myself into iRacing, which has dirt racing in different versions, but I'm not a gazillionaire and have to watch very well where I sink my money. In any case, this game will benefit from multiplayer code from iRacing, and if there's one thing iRacing does well is multiplayer, even if the netcode still needs work, and according to the press release also from car and track models and sound from iRacing. Sound from iRacing. Well, okay. I love career modes, and World of Outlaws brings one for sure, with you starting as a rookie and adding new bits, bots and thingamabobs to your car until you reach the top, as is customary for a career mode. World of Outlaws will set back your bank account by €50 USD, with the Gold Edition costing €70 USD. The Gold Edition will bring a Seasons Pass only for 2022, with the game coming out end of September, mind you, which seems to be 3 tracks and 2 additional classes. Quite the steep price for that content, I must say, but it's iRacing, so what was I expecting? This is kinda of sometime in the future, but the trailer caught our attention. It seems there is a Torque Drift 1 already out by the fantastically named studio Grease Monkey Games, and they just got an epic mega grant to further the development of Torque Drift 2. What now, you may be asking? At least that was a question in our minds when we read the news. Epic gives grants to companies developing games which range from 5,000 USD to 500,000 USD. The companies have to explain exactly what they plan to use the money for, including very specific budget information for any grant over 25,000 USD, but they keep the full rights to their game, including if, how and where to publish it, so it seems they have no strings attached, at least from what we can gather. We've not seen any contract or so we may be wrong here. The games have to be using the Unreal Engine though, which is not unreasonable. Unless you are Kunos making Assetto Corsa Competizione, but I digress. Back to Torque Drift 2, Grease Monkey Games, we love that name, have indicated they will further the physics of their second game, which seems to be at least far enough in development to give us the images we've been showing you. Only thing that makes us skeptical of the game is that they throw words out like blockchain and NFT without even remotely explaining what the bleep they are going to be using that for, which again makes us feel like they haven't understood blockchain technology at all and are throwing hip words around. Anyway, the game trailer looks good and the Drift Games ecosystem could use some fresh air. Oh, but Automobilista 2 can handle multiplayer. Well, we'll see if it's true and hopefully dispel any notion against it quite soon. Together with the great people of Just Race, RomRom brings you the Automobilista 2 Community Cup. 30 drivers from 6 communities will battle for the championship, for their own glory and that of their community. Starting 30th of August, RomRom is going to show you the races live, of course, commentated. Every 3 weeks a new race, and as each community was allowed to choose make and track, it's going to be on 6 tracks with 6 different classes of cars, thus allowing us to find out at the end of it all who is the better overall driver along all classes and which community brings the better drivers into the fight. While the plan is to be using real weather for all these events, we'll have to see how well it works before we fully commit to it. But it may make for very interesting races further into the end of the year. 1 hour of what we expect will be great racing every third Tuesday. Block your calendars because this promises to be excellent fun. Of course, only on RomRom, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing. Help us create the content you love and become a patron. Let us spread our wings. Amongst other perks, it will fix your name for posterity like this, but you'll also get to know what we plan and what we're doing, so a big thank you to our patrons. If you come here regularly, please consider subscribing. One day you start driving around in circles and before you know it, bam, 20 years have passed by. At least it seems very much like it for Live for Speed, the very indie racing simulator with a steady following. It all started 20 years ago with the demo test 0.04K, which the developers have published on their website so you can compare the then with the now. See the link in a description. And while they are working on new graphics and new tires, including night and day cycles, they are also working on improving the feel of the graphics by increasing the rate the graphics get renewed tenfold. Said this way, it doesn't sound like much, but having set rates going from 100 times per second to 1000 times per second means an enormous lot of work improving every part of the calculations. As an aside, this will also mean more accurate timing of laps and may open a way for Live for Speed to run graphics and physics calculations separately, what our Factor 2's team just recently did too, which means tons of work and often enough redoing part of the work, so we suppose there's more than enough for them to do in the next 20 years. And there's more than enough to see in our channel. Check the playlist to the left or the video to the right. Until next time, save fuel, collect pickup, and we'll see each other on the podium.